everybody, Steven here, and today I have a video review for my VivoBareFoot Stealth shoes. I really like these. I've had these for about 6-7 months now, and these are a minimal shoe, so it just means, when you're looking at the material, it's not a high raised heel shoe, so I can essentially just actually fold these shoes all the way up like that. And I actually want to start by talking about that and why that's important. And I want to throw out somebody's name, Katie Bowman. She's a biomechanist. I've done a ton of her workshops. I've read a lot of her books, and she really talks about the importance of wearing minimal shoes and going barefoot as much as possible. When you look at the evolution of our foot, it really is designed to be barefoot, and when you put a raised heel on a shoe, it actually changes the pitch of the body, and that has a ton of different effects on that. And I don't want to do an insane amount of information and dialogue in regards to that, but I do want to talk about it for a second, and I'm going to demonstrate just a small point with that, which is this is a 0.5 millimeter drop with this. It has a wide toe box right here, so it allows the toes to actually sprawl out as well. And this sits flat, so then I would sit flat. If it has a raised heel on it like this, this is going to be more kind of standard for your 0.5 to 0.75 inch raised heel shoe, which is more what you're going to see with regular brands, right? You can see that that puts my foot at an angle. So the pitch of my body now is actually at an angle. So I'm actually like leaning forward like this, right? So I'm raised up, my body's like that. What your body does to compensate for that, because obviously when you're looking at somebody standing, they're not leaning forward like this, is that actually tilts their pelvis forward. We call this an anterior pelvic tilt. And as it does that, it actually pulls my shoulders back, and it puts a lot more load on my lower back. You'll see people with a really extreme arch in their lower back. We call that lordosis. And this ends up affecting the knees, the hips, the lower back, up to the thoracic spine, the mid-back, and then into the cervical spine, the neck. So I actually have transitioned about 90% of my clients over to minimal shoes. I've been wearing these now, just minimal shoes in general, for about 4 or 5 years. I love them. For some people, it is going to be a transitionary process. So initially with my own clients, I have them wear these to the gym and then go barefoot at home as much as they can. And then they slowly progress into just wearing these day to day. A lot of times what you'll see with people that say that these are really bad for you is that they put them on and then they go right into their full-blown routine and they start running and working out and doing all these other things. And when we talk about the feet, when they're held in essentially a cast, when it's a very rigid shoe that doesn't twist and bend like these do, it creates a situation where the foot gets weaker. And as the foot gets weaker, it becomes more and more dependent upon the shoe for stability. I always tell people, if I was to have a cast on my right arm, I wouldn't just take off the cast and go arm wrestle and lift, and I was doing handstands and all these things with my arm, right? I'm going to slowly strengthen the arm and progress into doing those activities, right? Maybe not the arm wrestling, but with this, it is a slow transitionary process. Don't just go straight into using minimal shoes. Ease yourself into it. Allow the foot to get stronger. So look into Katie Bowman. She has a ton of different books, YouTube videos. She has a podcast, all this stuff. And I'll put this in the show notes so you guys can have access to this as well. So very important that we switch towards the minimal shoes, right? And if you're looking at kind of like the reasons behind why we would even have shoes, is because initially they were animal skins. You put them on the bottom of the feet because if maybe you're going on a terrain where there's a ton of sharp stuff that might poke you. You look at indigenous people's feet, the bottom are all calloused. And a lot of people look at that, and that's, in our culture, it's a huge no-no, right? We don't want to see that. That's seen as being bad or not favorable because it looks ugly or whatever the thing is. The truth behind that, though, and Katie talks about this a lot, is in order to create a callus like that, you're going to need a tremendous amount of blood flow in order to supply the nutrients to grow the skin there. So when you look at an indigenous person's foot, it's calloused all the way across, just like their hands. Not just where they lift, right? Because they don't lift like we lift, not just on the spots here. Their whole hand is calloused, and then their whole foot is, because it's very strong and it's very healthy. So they can still walk on terrain that might hurt us, like pebbles and rocks and all those other things. It would be more the extreme, really, really sharp areas that might have a little bit more difficulty, but they can walk on all these terrains, and that's really a testament and a test for anybody. You want to see how strong your foot is, go for a barefoot walk out in the forest, and you're most likely going to be like, that hurts, that hurts. That's because you don't have the callus there, right? And the foot is going to be a little bit weak. But like I said, we transition into these things. Next thing that I want to talk about is actually the shoe box right here. This has a wide shoe box, which is really, really good. It allows the toes to sprawl out. One of the analogies that Katie Bowman uses that I like to use also is, she says, imagine if I put a mitten on my hand, right, when you were really, really young, and then now you're an adult and you've always had this mitten on. It would kind of stand to reason that, one, I would feel highly uncomfortable without that mitten on my hand, and two, when you took it off, my fingers would probably want to stay together, and I would do this with my hands. I wouldn't want to actually sprawl them out like this. This is what you see with people's feet. I see it all the time with my clients when we initially take off their shoes and we look at their feet. They can't actually sprawl them all the way out, and they actually are kind of pushed in, right? So they almost look like that because their shoe doesn't have a wide shoe box. They're really narrow, or they're wearing high heels, so it wants to pull them like this. Best example of this is if you look at geishas. They would cram their foot into these tiny, tiny shoes, and if you would finally take them off, their foot actually curls in on itself and they actually start to lose function with the foot. So when you take off their shoes, they can't actually walk. Or if they do, it's extremely painful. So the wide shoe box is really, really good. It allows those toes to sprawl out. As we do that, you gain more dexterity in the individual toes, which is what we want. You should be able to sprawl out your toes. You should be able to lift up your big toe while the other ones stay down. And Katie talks more about this, and she has a ton of cool drills and exercises and things that you can do to help that. But the stronger my foot, all of that goes upstream, right? So I always tell people your feet are your roots, right? They connect you to the ground. The stronger that foot, the stronger my knees, my hips, my back, my spine, right? All the way up to my cervical spine through my neck. So really, really good that it has the wide shoe box so I can sprawl out like that. Like I said, I really, really do like these. These are expensive shoes. VivoBareFoot, if you look into them, and they are a newer company, but you're looking at anywhere from about $120 to about $240 for a pair of shoes, depending on the type. These are usually about $120 to $160. And these are the Stealth 1s. These aren't even the Stealth 2s, which are the newer version. My recommendation is that you actually just go onto eBay. And I found these on eBay. Somebody tried them on, apparently didn't really like them. And then I kind of reaped the rewards from that. So I got these pretty brand new. They had worn them like a week. When you do look on eBay, though, you are looking at the wear and tear. I always look at the sole of the shoe. I don't want to see that this is all torn up, because if they've put a lot of miles on it, it's not going to do you any good. But this is actually flat surface with a little bit of grip, which is good. This isn't their hiking shoe. They do have a hiking shoe that has a little bit more and kind of rubber on the bottom of it that gives a little bit better traction. But I have hiked in these, and these do a pretty good job. As far as the movement that I've actually done in these shoes, I'm a MoveNat certified trainer, so I do all of my natural movement stuff, which think primitive movement skills, crawling, climbing trees, jumping, right? All of that stuff. I do in these shoes. I'm also parkour certified, so I do my parkour stuff in this. So kind of going from doing all of the MoveNat stuff in the forest and outside to actually moving more towards an urban setting where we're actually kind of doing it at parks and on jungle gym equipment and stuff like that. But I'm doing all the same stuff here. I'm actually going to show at the end of this, I'm going to have a video of, actually I don't have that for this one. I was thinking if I had the video or not. I have it for some other shoes that because I switch my minimal shoes around a little bit. But I don't have any video with me doing any of those activities in here, but I have logged a ton of hours with these shoes, and I really, really do like them. Obviously walking with these, I train in these shoes, I do my mobility stuff in these shoes, my strength training in these shoes, all of that. What I don't do is run. I'm not a runner. I do a little bit here and there if we're out in the forest, I might do, but I'm not a long distance runner, so I can't attest to that. What I will tell you is if you are going to switch to minimal shoes and you are a runner, take it really, really slow at first. and you're most likely not going to want to do that on concrete all the time. You're going to want to vary the terrain so that you're doing it in grass and you're doing it on dirt and all these other locations, so that you're actually going to get the benefit out of this. Otherwise, this is a hard hit, especially if you heel run, which I do midfoot and toe running, but if you're going to strike with your heel, it's going to actually cause a lot of pain initially if you're not used to doing this, running with these shoes. So overall, great shoes. I got a little bit of wear and tear on the front of the shoe, but for 6 months of wearing this, that's not bad at all. I remember I used to get Nikes and I'd blow out the front in 2 months, and those were $110 shoes. So a little bit of tear right here. I do like the fact that it actually has this rubber on top though, because this is usually where I blow out my shoes. It's helped a lot on this side. I just have it on the right side. I don't have it on the left. The sole has stayed really, really tight to the actual top of the shoe, so I'm not showing any separation with that, which is really, really good. That's important for me, because with some other minimal shoes that I've worn, I've had to get rid of them because of that separation. The shoe essentially just rips off the sole and it just flops around. Little bit of tear in the back because of the fabric. Most people are going to get that. But like I said, I actually really, really do enjoy these shoes. So I'm going to put a link in the description box also so that you can find these on Amazon. I'm going to link to the VivoBareFoot website so you can check out their website. Look for sales like fall, maybe around Christmas. They will have sales where sometimes you can look out and you can get these shoes for like 70 bucks. And some people are going to be like, oh, it's still a lot of money, but compared to the 160 they want for them, or the 130 or whatever it is, you can usually find a pretty good deal. And these shoes will last a long time, which is really, really good as well, because I don't like buying shoes every 6 months because they've basically just completely broke down. I want a shoe that's going to last me a while. These are going to last me at least another 6 to 12 months, and I've already had them for 6 months, right? So you're looking at a year and a half, 2 years is typically what I'm going to get out of a pair of minimal shoes like this. So check out the websites and all of that. Hit the like button if you like the video. If you have any questions on these shoes as well, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe for more videos. I am going to be doing at some point too, I've only had these for about 2 months, I'm going to wait, but my vapor gloves, I'm going to be reviewing these, and I do have a video, I have a little bit more video of me training in these. I really, really like these as well. I go back and forth between, so right now I'm wearing these. I switch and I'll actually go back and forth between the two a lot, and I might spend a week in these and come back to these. I just switch back and forth. No reason, no rhyme or reason to it, but hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along with all of that, and then actually watch some of the MoveNat stuff, medical exercise stuff, warm-up drills, supplement reviews, whatever it is. If there's anything that you want to see as well, let me know in the comment section, and I'll try and get that on my list of all the content that I'm wanting to push out and inform everybody of. And definitely check out Katie Bowman's stuff. That's kind of the launching platform to a whole bunch of other people that you can kind of look at for great information on not only why you should switch to minimal shoes and go barefoot, but just how the body works, and really, really cool movement and exercise stuff that you can do. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and check back soon for more videos.